Hey there, guys. So today we have another review, and this is a beer from Small Town Brewery, and it is Not Your Father's Root Beer. They call it an ale brewed with spices. So legally, I believe that is the definition they're allowed to use to call it an ale. Some people would list it more towards something like a malt beverage brewed with flavors of the line of something like a Four Loko or Mike's Hard Lemonade. Either way, there's a good amount of debate around that. I believe Chris Quinn from Beer Temple calls it a malt beverage with spices. Either way, call it a beer, call it an ale, call it a malt beverage. Pretty interesting concept. And so yeah, again, it does contain alcohol, and it's 5.9%. I believe it is brewed with wintergreen, sarsaparilla, what else? Vanilla? Yeah, there you go. So I think that's the spices. So let's dig in. So it pours out very much like a soda. Looks like your familiar kind of root beer, Coca-Cola kind of product. Nice kind of carbonation on that. Definitely no head on that. So yeah, let's get the aroma. Yeah, not really like well versed on the spices that are in root beer, but I mean it's just that familiar. I believe it's sarsaparilla really is just popping out, but a really familiar root beer kind of aroma. Smells straight up like root beer. A little less sweet than the soda. Soda with high fructose corn syrup. Like I guess it's a little bit more syrupy. This one's a little bit more spice, sort of like an artisanal root beer or something like that. And you're definitely getting a minty wintergreen kind of thing. Yeah, very much so. Cheers. Ooh. On the palate, it's much more vanilla forward. Pops of vanilla up front. Blends in with a little bit of that kind of root kind of flavor. So I imagine that's a sarsaparilla. You get a little bit of this kind of wintergreen kind of flavor. Very good descriptors on the website of like what spices they use, because you really get a full, combination of those flavors. You get a bit of a syrupy sweetness in the middle, familiar kind of like sugary soda sweetness. A reasonably sweet beer, but you get a nice kind of spiciness that really tries to balance it a little bit. Not really cloying on the back end. Soda for me, I really don't like drinking sugared sodas because they really end up very cloying. This is probably a little sweet. I mean, I think a lot of people, their issue with this product is that it's just very sweet and sticks to the palate a little bit too much. I could reasonably drink this, I think. But yeah, in the end, this is pretty much soda. Oh, you get a little kind of like brown sugar kind of thing, the caramel brown sugar kind of thing. Really nice sweetness and spice balance. And then really just pops of really delicious, like herbaceous and spice flavors. Yeah, really nice stuff. Pretty good. I actually am liking it more than I remember first time having it. But really, in the end, this does not taste like beer. If you're really looking for a beer, don't look after this. This really is just really good root beer, and it happens to have 5.9% alcohol. Really, if that's what you're looking for, then try it out, because it really is delicious root beer. I'm not a huge soda fan again, but it's really nice stuff. As for rating, actually, as you drink it more, get a little this kind of like beer flavor, like this like malt and this kind of like graininess hinting in the back end. So you have a little bit of this kind of like malt beverage ale kind of thing going on, but really dominated by that sweetness and that soda flavor. But yeah, as for rating, I really have a hard time trying to rate this because it's not really a beer. I'm trying to think of what I'd give this. It's a pretty cool novelty. Let's go with an 85 on this one. Let's go with an 85. I mean, it's a pretty cool concept. It works pretty well. It's relatively drinkable. And obviously, I just learned I have ice cream in my fridge. So we're obviously going to do, this is some vanilla ice cream here. We're going to do a root beer float. Let's dig in. I haven't had a root beer float in a while. And just random idea came up. And yeah, so let's dig into this, see how this turns out. All right, let's try some of that. Some ice cream on the bottom. That's pretty good. Let's get some more soda in there. Works pretty well. For some reason, I think it might work better with a regular root beer because the sweetness pops out a little bit more. For some reason, as I'm having this, it really tastes like it's really spice forward. We need more soda in here. Try this again. Yeah, Not the best root beer float I've ever had. I think traditional soda might be better for this one. I'm not quite sure why it tastes so spicy. It's even more spicy than it tastes. Yeah, actually, in general, the soda is just very spicy and it sort of offers a wonderful balance as a product in itself. But if you try to make it into root beer float, I don't think it really backs up with enough of that like sugary / high fructose corn syrup sweetness to make a really good root beer float. But it turns out pretty well. I'm going to enjoy this root beer float. So until next time, guys, cheers. Let me know if you have any cool ideas. I thought, root beer float would be pretty cool. And I thought I'd review this product anyway. So until next time, guys, cheers. This is Not Your Father's Root Beer. Later.